What's in a contract negotiation? It depends on who you ask. If it's someone in corporate America, it's whatever is fair to the worker as juxtaposed to the hiring body. Chances are most people do not get hired nor negotiate with the company's owner. In professional sports, on the other hand, it is increasingly the case that player agents take other similar contracts and put pressure on the ownership group to do right by the player they represent. But what happens when there is no go-between? That is the case with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. How, though, did we get to such an impasse? This is when two sides decide to dig in their heels and stand on certain principles. We have to first start with when the market was last set. Patrick Mahomes, the QB for the Chiefs, signed a deal back in 2021, which was the gold standard. Considering that before he signed said deal, he already won a Super Bowl and took the team to another one, the Chiefs knew this man was the team's future for at least the next 10 years. If he were to hit all of his incentives, he would earn $500 million. The key number, though, is the guarantee. Mahomes was guaranteed $141 million. Quarterbacks knew they weren't going to get that type of contract. Where they did attack, though, was the guarantee. Every QB is not asking for 10-year deals, and they want to sign for as few incentives as they possibly can get. Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, roughly this time last year received a 6-year, $256 million contract with $150 million guaranteed. Knowing the Mahomes deal won't get touched, a new precedent was set with Allen's guarantee. Many balked at his receiving such a contract, but it all stopped with his epic performance in the 2021 AFC Divisional Round playoff game against the Chiefs. That was 1 week after he threw for more touchdowns than incompletions against the Patriots. Coming into this offseason, signal callers were looking for their next payday. We knew both Cardinals QB Kyler Murray and Packers QB Aaron Rodgers were publicly seeking a new deal. Russell Wilson, the new QB of the Broncos, quietly negotiated for one. All parties involved got their deals. Rodgers got a $150 million contract for the next 3 years, with over $101 million in guarantees at signing. That was in March. We'll get back to that later. Kyler Murray was tough to handle upon the Cardinals' exit from the 2021 NFL playoffs. In January, he wanted a solid deal, and 6 months later, he got one. 5 years, $230 million, with $160 million of it guaranteed. Russell also signed a 5-year deal. His is worth around $256 million, with $165 million in guarantees. All of these deals were considered okay and still are. That is, until Deshaun Watson's deal was struck. After it was ruled he would not be tried criminally for his sexual misconduct fiasco, the race was on to land the right deal for the former Texans QB. Jimmy Haslam on March 19th came with the 5-year, $230 million contract. The kicker is that all of his money was fully guaranteed. The biggest guarantee at signing in NFL history. It was as if Major League Baseball contracts came knocking on NFL doors. Now we come back to Lamar. 2 weeks after Watson signed his deal, the Ravens owner, Steve Bisciotti, publicly stated at the annual league meetings, quote, "I'm trying to answer that when I had a reaction to it, the Deshaun Watson signing, and it's like expletive. I wish they hadn't guaranteed the whole contract. I don't know that he should have been the first guy to get a fully guaranteed contract. To me, that's something that is groundbreaking, and it will make negotiations harder with others. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to play the game, you know? We shall see. If I was in bogged down negotiations with Lamar, then maybe I would have a quicker reaction to that news." Close quote. Almost 6 months later, and his reaction is still slow to this news. Lamar put forth an edict of having negotiations stop just 2 days before the Ravens began their 2022 NFL regular season. The negotiations came and went with no deal struck. From the team's end, the thoughts are as follows. Lamar Jackson represents himself. It is more difficult to have owners pull fast ones on agents who make it their business to study the tricks of the fine print. It's not to say that Lamar can't do the job, but it is difficult to negotiate, and you're stretched thin. Another thing the organization is considering, Lamar is coming off of an injury that ended his 2021 season. Injuries normally make a team pause in forking over more money. Yet another consideration, Lamar's development as a QB is incomplete. There are others who have mastered the position, and Lamar has come short of that. He's made strides, but rest assured, the Ravens brass are watching. What plays in Lamar's favor is the fact that the only QB that's gotten an extension and has had more success in the playoffs the last 2 years would be Allen and Mahomes. Plus, Lamar is a unanimous NFL MVP winner. Both sides are playing a game of chicken, and we may have gotten an indication on how the negotiations have gone. As reported by ESPN, the Ravens offered Jackson a 6-year deal worth $290 million with a $133 million guarantee. They retracted that story and changed the number to $250 million. Considering Jackson's on the field without an extension, regardless of the number, no was the answer. It was also reported that Jackson wants a fully guaranteed contract with no less than the $230 million that Deshaun Watson received back in March. As fully evidenced, both sides said no deal to the other. The problem going forward is the Ravens might attempt the franchise tag route after the 2022 season should Jackson still demand the $230 million plus guarantee at signing with his extension. This similar game was played with Kirk Cousins as they promised his team of a contract extension after 2 straight years of being franchise tagged. The Commanders were ready to franchise tag him for a 3rd consecutive year, only for him to sign a deal with the Vikings, which set him and his family up for life. Such is life in dealing with billionaires. They want to keep as much money as they possibly can for themselves, even if they see players have earned their pay. But here we are, watching a good old-fashioned game of chicken being played right before our very eyes. Which side is going to blink first? If neither side blinks, a sad situation may develop. Why? Because Lamar Jackson fits Baltimore like a hand in glove. He fits the Ravens and the community of Baltimore. Seeing him and the team not come to terms will ultimately hurt both sides. But as long as Bisciotti can hold on to his money and Jackson can receive his fully guaranteed contract somewhere else, all of this may not matter in the end.